Welcome to this episode where we're going to talk to you about macronutrients. Yes, nutrients, they help the body perform, they help with energy, focus. So if you're someone who feels lethargic, tired, or just like flat as a tack, it could be that you're possibly taking in the wrong macros. What do I mean by macros? Well, the big three macros are protein, fats, and carbs. You've probably heard too much protein is bad for you, fats are bad, and carbs are the devil. Well, then what are we all doing with these macros? It's all in moderation. So these are the three macros. So protein helps with building muscle, helps with repair, satiety. It also helps with DNA, RNA, nail growth, hair growth. So if you're someone who's maybe experiencing, brittle nails or your hair's thinning out, you might not be getting in enough protein. So interesting thing on that. Two is fats help with hormone, brain function, but fat's not bad. Fat is on our body. It helps regulate core temperature. It helps with hormone function. And so being in a deficit of fat on just like removing fat is not the answer. Males can get about 0.5 to 1 gram of fat per kilo of body weight. And for females, we look at about 0.8 to 1 gram per kilo of body weight. Honestly, for me, I like to think protein is 2 grams, fat is 1, because then everyone can go a little bit less on the protein and the fat if they need, but it's easy. If you weigh 100 kilos, 2 times 100 is 200. 1 times 100 is 100. So it's easier math to work out, but you've got some wiggle room to play with. And then the third macronutrient is carbohydrates, and they fuel performance. The brain also uses it. So if you're feeling a little bit, might not be fueling the body. So carbohydrates are good for us. Now you'll have lots of people that will shit on this video and be like, carbs are bad, carbs are the devil. Well, let's just do a quick poll. If you ate a donut, how would you feel after eating it? You'd probably feel pretty good. Carbs are good. They make you feel good. They make you happy. They also release a lot of things called serotonin, and that makes us feel good. If you feel happy, how do you think you're going to sleep? Probably good too. So if you feel miserable, then you're probably not going to sleep too good. No, I'll sleep totally fine, Karl. So carbs definitely have a role, but then anything in excess, that's where we get the complications, or where you get all these sayings and phrases from. And the next thing, which is a little bit like a carbohydrate, which is the forgotten macro, or it's really interesting, alcohol. Yeah. So alcohol is interesting. It's got 7 calories. It doesn't really have much nutritional value. It impacts and recovery, and it's a neurotoxin. It's a toxin. It's bad for the body. Don't believe me? Drink as much as you can, and guess what your body does? So the body is literally looking to eject it out of it. It's a forgotten macro, and it's kind of that fine line where people will eat healthy from Monday to Friday. So if we pop up a chart, you'll literally see, like, most people, what they'll do is they want to lose weight. They eat below their means. They're gradually eating less and less and less. And then come Thursday, Friday, the drinks come out, maybe because of their career. They've got to hang out with the boss or the boys or the friends. And if they don't drink, then it might affect their career. And so I'm not saying you shouldn't drink alcohol, but what tends to happen is your calories go up. And so what happens is you're in a deficit, and now you're in a baseline or a surplus. But because you have this increased toxin in the body, what's going to happen is your body is going to ramp up certain pathways to detoxify. So then what do you need? You need things to help with repair, protein. You need things to help with brain health, function, hormones. And you need something to fuel you so you can get through the day but still detox. Well, guess what? You're probably going to increase your food intake. And typically this is where the big breakfast comes in, because you get a big bunch of calories which make us feel good, but just helping the body just shuttle out the toxins. Now, is it incredible 100% improvement in detox pathways? Well, if it was, we'd all eat big breakfasts. But no, what you then do is it throws you into a surplus of calories Saturday, Sunday, and then you feel gross. Then what do? You just cut your calories aggressively again, and it starts all over. And usually you might be 300-400 calories over by the end of the year. You're like, how did I put on 3 to 4 kilos? Like, how did this happen? Well, it's because of that cycle you're in. And so the whole approach with macros, people take an all or nothing. All we need is a simple little adjustment, a little tweak. Heck, you could literally say, you know what? Instead of having 3 drinks, I'll just have 1 and then I'll stop. You can still have the drink, but then you have literally reduced the calorie intake straight away. And then you probably won't need as much big breakfast to recover. And so that's a way to manage it. So you get a bit of best of both worlds. If you're like me and you're all or nothing, you definitely have to really control that. But being aware of the devil's in the details, and being aware of that is definitely going to be a game changer for you. So Karl, what's the deal? Why am I eating more, when I have some alcohol? Well, what your body is trying to do, trying being the word, it's trying to get the other thing that's overlooked is the micronutrients, the vitamins, the minerals, water, fiber. These things will help with your digestion, immunity, and mental clarity. So usually there's a little bit through all of our food. So we're missing some of those micronutrients. And this is where, whether you believe it or not, maybe a supplement like a multivitamin could be that little thing that boosts everything for you. Guess what else has minerals and vitamins in it? Well, vegetables, fruit. So and this is the challenge I have with a lot of calorie deficits is like most people forget about eating their fruits and veg. And so they're trying to cut calories and people will count, well, don't eat that fruit because it's got 20 calories in it. It's like, we'll save that for a chocolate chip. It's like, man, honestly, when we work with people, we tell them not to stress about vegetables. Like if you're prepping for a photo shoot or a comp, different story. But most people, we want to feel better, look better, eat more veg. Just like think, if you were to eat 2 kilos of vegetables a day, do you think you would put on fat? So the camera guys even look at me like, no. Yeah, correct. You wouldn't put like, I haven't seen anyone in 20 years of doing this, almost 20 years, anniversary is coming up. I haven't seen anyone eat more vegetables and get fat. You might feel bloated, but what happens in the morning when you have some warm water, boom, and your coffee comes out. And that's digestion. It takes some time. Micronutrients, vitamins, all those things they're missing. And so macronutrient targets based on goals is the next layer to that. So we've got macronutrients, protein, fats, and carbs. We've got the missing one, which is alcohol. And this can be a big game changer for a lot of people to make shifts. I recommend giving it up, but I understand most people don't for certain reasons. Totally get it, but you need to take control of it. Little pro tip is that if you eat a big protein rich meal beforehand, you're probably not going to drink as much alcohol where if you're on an empty stomach, though you'd get pretty loose pretty quick on an empty stomach. So chicken or the egg. 3 is the micronutrients that are missing, the vitamins, the minerals, and this usually comes from your fruits and veg. And then if you're someone who's time poor, this is where a multivitamin can definitely help. We don't sponsor any company and brand. There's hundreds of thousands out there. Find the one that works for you, or come in, sit down, and we'll literally look at what's out there, look at your blood work and see what's missing. 4, macro targets. So touched on this before, but if we were to sit down and you're like, right, Karl, let's work out my calorie intake. I literally am like, I don't care about your calorie intake because you've got macros and calories. Calories, definitely important to track and measure. However, if you're not eating right, if you're not doing anything correctly, and I go, cool, your calories are $2,000, like 2,000. I say $2,000 because if you think of your finances, is it like you might spend your money on coffee this week and then you spend it on a croissant next week and then you go out and do 3 dinners. Like you make $2,000, but how you spend it, you have flexibility in. And that's the same thing with calories and macros, is finding some parameters, but you've got some flexibility in it. So if you're someone who says, yes, I need to know my calories and that would give me the discipline to do it, great, do that. If you're someone who's like, I just need to eat 3 meals a day and start there, and we make changes, then do that. If you're someone who's like, I need to fast once a week, like I do that myself, I do smart fast, then do that. It's like, what is the thing that's going to be easiest for you? And then start there. So let's just say we've got that all dialed in. You're eating 4 meals a day. You're waking up same day every day. You're going to bed same day every day. And that's dialed in. Great. So then we have your meals at the same time, maybe 7, 11, 3, and 7 at the same time every time. If it's after 7 p.m., we don't eat our last meal, and we just push that to the next day. So then, heck, even when you're out with the boys, you definitely got that sorted. What would we look at next? So we want to look at protein. Protein is our amino acid builder, helps with energy, repair, function. We want 2 grams per kilo of body weight. Start at 2, we can go up to 4, or we can go down to 1.5. So we start at 2. If you have digestive upset, you feel uncomfortable, you're like, oh man, like it just, cool, drop it down. You've got leverage. So start at 2 grams, just calculate literally. You grab your calculator, top right if you got the iPhone, punch it out. I weigh 60 kilos times 2, bada bing, bada boom, 120. Easy to work out, and you literally write 120 down on a piece of paper. Then the next one is you go fats, 1 gram, 1 times your body weight, so 60 times 1, 60. Cool. Now, if I literally pop this up on my computer at the same time, so we have 200 grams, that's times 4, that's, 120 times 4, that's 480, plus your fats, So 60 times 9 is 540. So I got 480. So that gives me 1,020 calories. So baseline, 1,020 calories. Now someone who's 60 kilos, we would say 60 times 30. Someone who's active, that's 1,800 calories. We have a simple formula, so you don't need all this fancy stuff. But again, you can, whatever suits. So we've definitely got room to play with. So this person can then have like 100, 200 grams of carbs, right? So we start with the proteins and fats. If you're like anything like my partner, she loves peanut butter. Cool. Well, when you want peanut butter, breakfast or dinner? She's like, oh, I love it for dinner. Cool. We do it for dinner. So she has like a big tablespoon. So we put the fats more in the evening for her, and she trains in the morning. And remember, what does carbs work for? Performance. So she has her carbs at nighttime and just after a workout to help with recovery, and off we go. Bonus with fats is they help regulate blood glucose levels, so that helps with energy and focus. So Kate, for her first meal, does do fats rather than carbs, because some people, when they eat carbs, energy goes up, energy goes down. She can't afford that as a lawyer. So depending on your career and your hours that you work, and some people function better on carbs, some don't. Like, I'll eat carbs, I feel good, where for her, she'll be like, so we don't want that. Though I know for her, berries and oats with protein, that's fine for her. But if she's doing rice or toast, it's just, what are the foods for you? And you can definitely find that out. Have a toast with peanut butter is great for her. So we got protein, we got fats, and then we got carbs. And we find out what that is. My recommendation is drop your carbs by 50 to 100 grams. So you've got flexibility. So if someone goes, hey, let's go eat out for lunch, you know what proteins you want and what carbs you have. And so if you're eating out and they don't weigh to the gram your carbs, you're like, oh, I'm ruined. You're like, they've probably given me more, and that's totally fine. And if you do have what's called banking, so if you pull away 100 grams every day, then you have more carbs that you could fuel and eat at the end of the week. It's called carb loading in training world. And so that actually helps increase saturation of carbs in the muscle, so you can train a little bit harder. Lastly, is you want to educate yourself on the flexibility. You don't need to hit macros perfectly every day. And like I said, what is the thing that's going to move the needle forward? Start with simplicity. The blueprint, like if I was to pull up a blueprint to success here, we work on habits. So the first thing we do is we focus on water. The second thing is we start eating breakfast. Usually it's 2 eggs on some gluten-free toast or sourdough. Then we look to go to add some egg whites to it, so that increases the protein intake. Once we've got that, people tend to feel they've got more energy and feel a bit better. Then we're looking at increasing the vegetable intake. Then we're looking at adding more protein to lunch. And then we're looking at more veg for lunch. And then we look at dinner as well, or snacking. Maybe it's a shake, maybe it's yogurts with berries. And we're starting to just build on these habits. Consistency is the biggest thing here. So if you can't be consistent, then don't force yourself into like discomfort, and just control what you can. At the end of the day, simplicity is king, and ask yourself, what can you do consistently every day, Monday to Sunday? Wake up same time, sleep same time, eat same time will be the biggest thing you can do for yourself. If you can't do 4 times, do 3. Just because someone does 6 times doesn't mean it's better. It's just what works for their routine. So just take a deep breath when you're feeling overwhelmed and start with one thing at a time, and know that we got you. And if you've watched this episode, comment below if you want our reflection cheat sheet, so I can give you a step-by-step tick box that you can start with, and so you can check and improve on your nutrition every day. Enjoy.